Did you know that Google Classroom allows you to set up 3 different types of assignments for students? Hi, I'm Rachel Shell, Tech Coordinator at Archford Education Service Cooperative. Today I'm going to walk you through these 3 different types of assignments you can set up in Google Classroom, and we're going to take a look at the settings that you need to have in place in order for them to work correctly. Here we are in my Google Classroom test course, and I am currently logged in as a student, and I have set up the 3 different types of assignments so that we can take a look at those. So we're going to start by looking at them from the student's point of view, and then we will switch over and look at them as a teacher and look at the different settings. So the first type of assignment that we can set up is an attached assignment. So an attached assignment means that students are going to actually attach something and submit it. This is typically what we use for like non-Google items. So if you are asking students to submit images, PDFs, a Microsoft Word document, or a link to a website, this is the type of assignment that you would set up. So for your students to submit something, they're going to click the Add or Create button, and they will have to upload whatever it is they're turning into their Google Drive, because if you click Google Drive or File, it's still going to go to Google Drive. And then you can click Drive. If they're not on a Chromebook, you can click Upload and browse from your computer, but most of our students are on Chromebooks, so we can go to My Drive, and I'm just going to select this PDF, click Insert, and it will attach it just like you're attaching something to an email. It's the same type of process here. And once we have it ready to turn in, this will say turn in. Mine says resubmit because I've already submitted it and returned it to myself once. So I'm going to say resubmit, and then I'm going to click turn in. And now that assignment is ready for me go in and grade as a teacher. Okay, so that's the first type of assignments, attaching items, so attached assignments. All right, so I'm going to return back to the Google Classroom, and let's go to our second type of assignment, which are assignments that can just be turned in or turned in assignments. So turned in assignments can only be used with Google Slides or Google Docs. But what this does is it allows you to just have students basically just click the button to turn this in without having to go through the extra steps of adding or attaching a document like we did in the first example. So I have 2 examples for you to look at. The first one is a Google slide. And in this Google slide example, I would want students to work together. So we would have multiple students working in the same document here. This is not a case where they would each get their own copy. This is everybody's working together. And so once the students are done working, then when we come back to the classwork page here, to the assignment page, I can just click turn in, and it's going to submit this. The students do not have to go and add this back in. They don't have to do anything extra here. They just click turn in when they're done with the Google slide. One thing that I will point out though is if you want to use a Google slide like this where you have students all working together, you will need to make sure you go to File, Share, and down here you want to change this setting to, it should be your domain, okay, which is mine is Archford, and I want to make sure that this is changed to Edit. So anybody from Archford is an editor, and I'm going to click Done, and then that is what allows students to go in and work together. If I do not change that, then students will get the view only, and they will not be able to go in and actually make changes to it. So do make sure that you change those settings if you want them to work together in a group. Once they're done, they just come back to the Google Classroom and click Turn In on this assignment. The other type of assignment that students can turn in are Google Docs. Whether you're using a Google Doc or a Google Slide, many people like to set it up where you make one copy for each student. That is one of my favorite features. In this example I've got for you here, this is a Google Doc, and this is just a template that I set up where students can come and paste their screenshots below. If you've gone through the training with me, I know that sometimes it can be a struggle to attach your screenshots. So if you just have a template like I do here and you choose to make a copy for each student, then each time students come in, they can just paste it in. And then the nice thing about a Google Doc is there is a turn in button up here in the corner. And once you click that, it just automatically submits the assignment for you, and then that's all there is to it. So I can come back to here, and if I refresh this, we can see that the assignment has been turned in because I clicked the Turn In button here. And that's all you have to do with the turned in assignments. So if we go back to Classroom, our third type of an assignment are quizzes. So quizzes are, of course, where students can come in, click on a link to the Google form as a quiz, answer a question, submit, and it will give them feedback. Do notice up here that it tells me my email address is user1@archboard.org. That's a setting that we want to make sure it's turned on. I will show you why. So I'm going to submit this, and it tells me my response has been submitted and the assignment has been marked as done. Okay, and so I can come back to here and I can refresh this, and now you can see that it says unsubmit because it's already submitted for me. If it still says mark as done, you can check the box here and it will mark that as done. So from a student side of things, that's all I have to do. I like to tell students all the time that if you see if it's gray, then it means it's been submitted. My second example here is not gray, so I need to go in and resubmit that one more time. So now that I've resubmitted that, you can see that everything is gray. That means that I have turned in all of my assignments. All right, so now we're going to jump over to the teacher view. So I am logged into this course as the teacher now. And let's see how this looks from our side of things. So first we're going to go to our first example, and we can see that we have had somebody turn in the assignment. You can click View Assignment, or you can just click the Turned In button. And the nice thing about Google Classroom is you can see everything that's been submitted from here. If you want a closer view, you can click on the actual item and it will show it to you here, and you can view it. Now, this is really nice because I know some of you have mentioned to me before you were worried about trying to keep your Google Drive organized. But with Google Classroom, you don't have to worry about that because everything is stored right here, and you can actually see all of the assignments and everything here and do your grading from here without having to go to Google Drive. So once I have checked everything here, I can return this and mark this as complete. I am going to do a video next week that's going to walk you through how to grade everything. Because right now I just want to focus on setting these up, but this is what attached assignments look like, and this is how you can view it, and that's all there is to just the attached assignments. So let's go look at the second type of assignment that our students submitted, which is the assignments to turn in. So I'm going to click View Assignment here, and this is where we can see what the student has submitted. It looks like it's only showing me the Google Doc, which is great. So here is this version of the user one Google Doc because we made a copy for each student. And so again, I don't have to go to Google Drive. I can just go right here. It's going to open the Google Doc for me and I can grade it from here. Now this does bring up a really good point. I have 2 items attached here. It's really important though that your assignments, you only want to attach the one item that's going to be graded here because it can get very confusing for students and for you when you're grading if you have multiple graded items. So if I wanted to grade the Google Doc and the Google Slide, it only submitted the Google Doc to me, so the students would have to go back and resubmit the Google Slide. So if students are going to have to do that anyway, it's really just easier to set this up as 2 separate assignments. So I should have one assignment where students submit the Google Doc and then a separate assignment where students submit the Google Slide, and it's going to make it a lot less frustrating for the students. It's going to be easier for you to grade if you set it up that way. But this is, like I said, you click on this, you're going to see what the student has submitted here. Remember, this was the Google Doc, which has the little gray turn-in button up there, so students didn't have to come back and do anything separate. You just grade, you can leave your comments, and return this back to students when you're done grading. Let's go to our final type of assignment, which was the quiz. So the quiz is a little different. You can't click on the student information here. There's nothing to see. Instead, what you have to do is you have to go into the quiz itself to see what that looks like. So I've opened the quiz. I need to click the little pencil down in the bottom right corner to see this as a teacher. So from here I can go to responses and I can see the responses below. So under scores, I can see which students have submitted their scores and what they answered and all of that information. You can download this into a spreadsheet if you want, but you do not have to. And you do not have to because I'm going to show you how to set up your quiz so that you can import your grades and not have to manually enter these grades back over here in Google Classroom. So when you're setting up your quiz, what you want to make sure that you do is click the gear and check the box collect email addresses, check the box restrict to, it'll have the name of your school here, and then check the box limit to 1 response. So when you collect email addresses, it doesn't actually ask your students to enter their email address. They just have to be logged in, and it will tell them at the top which email address they are logged in under. This goes back to some of the troubleshooting we've talked about before. If your students are logged in under their personal Google account, they will need to log out and then log back into only their school account in order for this quiz to record their answers correctly. So just make sure you let students know that they need to be logged in under that school account, and then you will check collect email addresses. You do have to have restrict users to your domain checked. That means that students, again, cannot be logged into a personal Google account. If they do and they try to access it, it's going to give them an error message. And then I like to choose limit to 1 response. The reason that I do this is so that it only allows students to take the quiz 1 time. Basically, you want to make sure that you've got these boxes checked. Save this. Once you've done that, let's go back into Google Classroom and let's look at how to grade this. So once you have those 3 things set up, you're going to notice that this import grade button will appear. If it is grayed out, it means that you do not have those 3 boxes checked. So you'll need to go in. You can turn those on at any time and turn them off at any time. But to import the grade, turn them on. Click Import Grades, click Import, and then it will automatically bring the grades over for you, and then you can return that to your students. So you do not have to manually grade these quizzes and submit the grades. If you have the settings set up that way, they'll automatically come in. So that is that's all that I wanted to show you today. Those are the 3 different types of assignments. So next week I am going to send some videos out to you. One will show you how to grade and leave feedback on assignments that have been attached or turned in, and then I will show you how to grade your quiz assignments. Thanks so much. Reach out to me if you have any questions, and I will see you all next week.